Hi there, it's Katie Burns with In-Telecom. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. We're very excited to have you, and we will be discussing the benefits of cloud telephony versus an on-premise phone system. We will also have our CEO, Sean Torres, joining us today. Let's go ahead and bring in Sean.
Hey everyone, Sean Torres, CEO of In-Telecom. Today we're going to do a quick discussion discussing the benefits of cloud telephony versus traditional on-premise PBX. Today many clients face many challenges with remote connectivity, expandability, even thinking back to recruitment and employees we're hiring and bringing into the job market. I think COVID's all taught us, very, valuable lessons of the ability to be able to pick up and go. Not only thinking about DR and reliability, whether it be a power outage, whether it be a storm, a fire, or a virus. I think that more and more organizations are needing the reliability to take their workforce, put them at home, and still have the ability to function as if they're all in one office. I think that productivity, being able to understand what's happening with those users and communicate amongst each other is extremely important. Not only for just, the ability of the organization to function, but thinking about the ability to keep and sustain sociability as humans and wanting to communicate with our teams. So with cloud telephony, allowing the flexibility to take an employee, have them work from home on any device, whether it be a laptop, a cell phone, an iPad, and giving them the flexibility to communicate with their customers, their employees, their vendors, whatever it may be, it can still function. A lot of organizations today look at, that big capital upfront expenditure when having to purchase a phone system and maintain that phone system. And every time we need to add a user, having to worry that do we have a card that can expand and add an additional phone? Or do we just scale up and scale down as on an as needed basis to where, we can take an employee that's, we're adding 10 employees this year, having the flexibility of being able to just add a phone, plug in an internet connection, and now we're online and functioning. So I think timing is key as far as being able to do this in a fast manner. I think the ongoing cost of having to maintain a phone system is just nonsense in today's world. I think telephone has been brought in more of a commoditized product. So why make the big investment when you can allow your voice over IP provider to make that investment and spread those costs among several organizations and still give the functionality that the organizations demand today, like, call accounting or call recording and, chat and texting. I think texting is becoming more prevalent today in the world, and the ability to take your system and be able to text your clients from your business telephone number, I think, is extremely important. Keeping a sales force moving and having the ability to have that sales force remote and function and communicate and run more meetings with, video platforms. That's why we built out a video platform on our cloud product to where, our organizations that we help and maintain can still communicate with the individuals that they need to, whether that be a vendor or another employee, or whether that be, running sales meetings with clients and having the flexibility and being able to do it. Those big cost of travel expenses are, going away, and companies are realizing we don't have to do all this travel, that we can work remote, that we can have a face-to-face meeting and not be sitting in the same room. Just safety guidelines of just individuals, avoiding getting, a virus and getting sick from traveling and being on an airplane, and not only just the expense of, the airline and the hotel and the rental car. You start adding these things into perspective, and the reality is that the cloud telephony is actually creating more efficiencies, which can then turn more profits. So when you look at, again, a legacy on-prem phone system, I think that it still has its place relevant in the market. But I think the more and more you get into the deep roots of organizations and the challenges that they're facing, we are seeing more and more clients migrating to cloud. And again, having the ability to connect in applications inside the organization, like screen popping into your ERP or tracking data into Salesforce for outbound calls for sales team and support staff, and maintaining that base, I think, again, is something that, an on-premise phone system at one time was extremely clunky, and there was all other these applications that we can roll together. But now with cloud, we're flexible. We can scale it in a faster manner. We don't have to wait. We don't have to have these ongoing maintenance and software costs that a lot of organizations were facing, and we can just plug in and go. And I think that's the most important piece when looking at a cloud product versus making it an investment on an on-premise phone system.
Thanks for that explanation, Sean. Now, what do you see as the immediate impacts that organizations recognize when they're implementing a cloud-based phone system?
Great question, Katie. The impact that I'm seeing today that's helping the organization, I believe, the fastest is just the flexibility of utilizing the portal and maintaining the call flow. So what that means is traditionally, everyone has a phone, and you can pick the phone up and you can make a phone call, and that's great. I think the impact that we're making in the organization immediately is truly utilizing the features that are sitting in the phones and applying those into the business, whether that be an individual department looking at the number of calls that they're missing. And, traditionally with an old phone system, clients had to spend, umpteens of thousands of dollars to get some of these features that now are just standard inside of the system, like just call recording and call accounting, and the ability to be able to go in and search for a number that called into your office, find out who they spoke to, how did that conversation go, and where did it end. So therefore, allowing that data, I think, in my opinion, is the most important piece. I think the flexibility of change management for the individual user, being able to process their changes in a very easy manner, whether that be changing an auto attendant, not having to rely so much on the vendor, and being able to self-sustain what's there. Some of the features that we've built into the system just make it easy for the end user. So it's not like we have to have all these trainings and have to have this really technical person that can maintain their phone system any longer. We just wanted to make it easy for the client. Obviously, they can still contact us and we'll still support them, but we're just seeing a lot of the clients enjoying the ability to maintain and make their own changes, as well as utilizing mobility with the cell phone app. And now being able to contact their clients like they're sitting in the office, but they could be on the go. So I think it's a challenge for organizations to learn to use the tool and have the ability on the outside to push the data from the cell phone to the client and actually make that call from there. But I think the majority of the clients that we see utilizing that feature and that tool, whether it be a doctor's office with the doctor communicating to a patient, whether it be a sales rep communicating with an individual on a sale, or whether that be just a customer service rep that needed to go run an errand that can make the call. And it could be walking around your own facility and that call goes in, and now they can accept that call like they're sitting at their desk, but they're moving around, whether it be getting something off the printer or running to the bank to make a deposit. So we've had several experiences where we had a director at a hospital that was able to take a phone call from the federal government for a COVID vaccine order that was having some issues, and they were able to resolve that. And without being, in a traditional phone system, they would have missed that call, gotten a voicemail, possibly saw it at the end of the day. With ITC Cloud, they're able to take that call real time on the road and maintain business as usual. And I think just, again, the immediate impact that's happening today is again, I think the flexibility and the ability to just work from anywhere on any device.
Thanks, Sean. That makes a lot of sense. Now, what are the most widespread misconceptions about switching to a cloud-based phone system?
Katie, that's a great question. I think the biggest misconception that organizations look into when switching to cloud telephony is one, can they keep their phone number? Yes. Per the FCC, the client always owns their telephone number. So we can port any telephone number nationwide. So some benefits that we can do there is, even if you have a client and you're looking to expand into a new market, we can give you a telephone number prior to you even being in that market. So therefore, from an advertising perspective, from an outbound perspective, whatever it may be, you could actually centralize your call center in one area and make outbound calls to several different areas throughout the United States and be able to show a local presence when making that outbound call. So not only can we keep your phone number, we can also give you additional phone numbers on the fly that are strategically routed based on where you're calling. So for instance, if you had a client in New Orleans and you were calling out to that client, we can have the system automatically route out on a 504 telephone number, and you could be located in Houston with a 281 area code. It would not matter. So that's one of the big misconceptions that I think people miss when looking at a cloud-based system, that they may have to change their phone number. No, you don't have to change it. And yes, we can give you additional phone numbers to help you out and keep those things moving along.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope that you enjoyed today's session and are able to take some of this information back to your organization. If you have any questions or you'd like to learn more about In-Telecom, please visit our website at intelecom.com.